Am I the a-hole for breastfeeding in front of my conservative family to prove a point? I 24F have a 6-month-old. My husband and I are visiting family right now. My family is very conservative on social issues, and we got into a kind of a heated discussion last night. They were being sanctimonious about how being a pro-life Christian is the most important thing you can be, how nobody has kids anymore and the people that do have them because they can't keep their legs closed. This really pissed me off. Now I know I'll get some heat for this, but I'm also a pro-life Christian. I told them that maybe fewer women would feel like they had to get an abortion if people like us didn't shame them because they can't keep their legs closed. You can't pick and choose which children to care about. To which they got more upset, saying I was promoting indecency or something. A few minutes later, my aunt said that she'd seen a teen mom from my cousin's school breastfeeding, and that it was no surprise she felt comfortable being such a when she'd gotten herself knocked up. This was too much even for my family, and people started criticizing her. I asked them why this was the line in the sand they chose to draw when they'd been saying terrible things earlier, to which they just said something to the effect of, breastfeeding is beautiful and wholesome. I decided to see if I could call their bluff and asked if they'd be okay if I fed right there. They all said yes, but I wasn't convinced, so after a few minutes I decided to see how they'd react. I unbuttoned my top, draped it off my shoulders, my titties out, and had my husband hand me our baby so he could eat. Some people started getting upset, telling me that I was being promiscuous, that they couldn't believe I'd expose my in front of family, and some people actually just left entirely. I told them that I was simply doing what they claimed to care about most, spending time with family, and embracing motherhood and my femininity at a time when, according to them, the left doesn't know what a woman is. My husband was great throughout all of this. No complaints about him. So what do y'all think? Was this a good move to expose hypocrisy, or was I just being petty and ridiculous?
Here are the top comments.
I genuinely don't understand people being upset with babies eating. In my country, you just lift your shirt up and let your child eat. No matter where you are, at home, in a restaurant, on TV, the baby's head covers enough if you don't stare. And why would you stare at someone eating? That's just rude. You're not the a-hole for feeding your child and exposing their hypocrisy.
That's honestly so beautiful to me. I definitely wish that was the case here. It's also funny from the Christian perspective, because Jesus would have had to have been breastfed lol, and if Jesus was without sin, how could breastfeeding be wrong?
And as for the can't keep their legs closed, they really ought to add can't keep their trousers on or some similar male-related bunkum. It's not just the female's fault, but because they have to carry the baby, they get the blame. As for calling you promiscuous while feeding your baby, what the F?
Not the a-hole. It was petty, but I personally completely support your actions. That is funny AF.